Hello, 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 hello. So we just fed the dog. Hello, dog. Yeah, good dog. Well done. Fed the virtual dog and the real dog, obviously. So let's get back on with it. So, last time, just before the end of the stream, we did, for those that might have missed the end, we did buy our hay dryer, which is over here, drying grass. So I've put in a whole bunch of grass and a whole bunch of wood chips, and it's been working away. And we now have 45,000 litres of hay. So it's working out quite nicely. I put in about 5,000 just over 5,000 litres of wood chips, and I'm fairly sure there was a significant amount of. Oh, what's going on? Thank you, Hoss, for the follow. So we've got the hay being made in large numbers. So yes, we will take it. So there we go. Okay, so that's good. I'm okay with that. That's why that tipper is on the tractor. I've also taken practically every fertilizing contract, every harvesting contract, including the sugar beets for 1G Frost, the fertilizing contract, sugar beet contract, which I'm not active on at the moment because there was also a cotton contract out here, and I can just leave this running whilst I go and do other things because it doesn't need any attendance. Because the bales just spoot out the back. So there we go. So we are going to try and figure some other stuff out. Do we want to take another bunch of wood chips? How much wood chips do we have? How much wood chips do we have? 38,000, so... No, I think we're all right for that for the moment. I also took some eggs. I loaded up the truck and took some eggs to the cookie factory. So I think this needs to go to... Hey, Brew! How are you? Let's give a shout out for Brew. So it's the weekend now, so Brew's happy. Yeah, I've got the week off, so I've got Serenar coming to see me tomorrow, which will be good. So having a visit with Serenar, which will be nice. And yeah, then I've got the whole week off, including next Monday because it's a public holiday in the US next Monday, not tomorrow, but a week tomorrow. So yeah, we need to sort that out, Brew. I'm really not putting much effort in. Serenar's been, she's amazing. She's actually decided she's going to come down and drive down and come see me, which I think is wonderful. We want to go Hitman's Field, so we want to go this way. So I'm going to take this to Hitman's Field ready for the harvest there. Obviously you can see our fields are ready for harvest. So we have a full work roster of stuff to do. And it's 10 to 10 in the morning game time. Sadly a bit far to come for a day trip for you. Yes, indeed, Brew. I think it's a fair distance for Serenar to do, bless her heart. Which means after the stream, I've got doggy barriers to build. As I have a nervous doggy. And I don't like to keep her completely muzzled all the time. Well, I don't like her to keep her muzzled any of the time, basically. But I may have to for safety reasons. So let's pop that there. Let's do this fertilising contract, because we can. We've got this one, and we've got one more fertilising contract, which is the Dare Tebra's mega field. So this is one of Serenar's 2 fields. This field 19 is Serenar's, and field 20 next door is Serenar's as well. I think you know, Brew, you've got your fields are fields 25 and 26. One of which does have sugar beets, and we have taken the contract to harvest those for you. Because I'm a nice guy like that. Plus, I'd already got the big harvester for field 15 and 23. Not sure if I've taken 17 yet. I'm not sure if I've seen it come up. No, I haven't seen 17 come up for harvesting yet. So, there we go. Yeah, so plenty of work still to do here on Giants Island 2011. For those of you that are interested in the tractoring to 22 that we're doing, which is playing all the different versions of Farm Sim up to the launch of 22. I've got the next stream of Landwirtschafts Simulator 2008 is taking place on Thursday. It'll be a lunchtime stream UK, so 1 p.m. UK, because I'm off this week. And on Friday, there will be a 1 p.m. lunchtime stream and the usual 6 p.m.
Toast.
Big Trucker, hello! And there will also be a normal time stream on Friday for Farm Sim 2009. You're just doing a history of Massey, fair enough. And how is Big Trucker today? You all set for going back to work tomorrow, I hope? And thank you for the 25 bits and the exasperated Das saying 10,000 toast. I have an invite for the launch event for Massey on Friday. If you can get the afternoon off, fair enough. Sounds good. Anyone that's interested in the streams, I'm saving local recordings, and I'm gonna try to either put them on YouTube in their entirety or edit them down. I will be editing them down and doing like a step through video that I'll probably have to upload and do as a rerun, even though it'll be a kind of a premiere type of thing, because it'll be pre-recorded content. But I'm considering doing that, so we'll be able to look at the evolution in like one, like probably hour-long video, maybe a little bit longer than that. But that's where my mind's heading on that. So if that sounds interesting, if you kind of haven't seen the previous versions of Farm Sim, or you haven't seen them for a while, we're going to be exploring those right up until the launch of Farm Sim 22. And the first 2 days of Farm Sim 22, I'm planning again some afternoon streams, 1 p.m. UK time, for 3 hours of Farm Sim 22 on the first 2 days of launch, because I've taken those days off. Because why not? Mostly because I needed to take some time off before the end of the year, and I thought, yeah, that sounds good to me. Big Trucker's redeeming a hydrate. Thank you very much, Big Trucker. Much appreciated. Unclear if that was to hydrate me or just get me to shut the hell up. So, either way, it's good. So yeah, so how is everybody's weekend going? It is Sunday afternoon here. It's going to be the chilled Sunday afternoon stream, which means lots and lots of nice farming simulator stuffs. Just tootling up and down the field, making some money, making some cookies. Because you got to make them cookies. I mean, if you're not making cookies on your farm, what are you doing with your life? Basically. Well, either that or you just don't know DAS, if that's the case. So let's have a look at field 19 status. 60%. So you can see we've pretty much got every contract bar the 2 transport missions. I like the multi-missions mod. Yes, I'll take all of them. All the missions. Seemed like a long speech you didn't want me drying up. Thank you, Big Trucker. I do appreciate it. And yes, I was rabbiting on there for quite some time. But yeah, so lots of things coming up. Like I said, I started Farm Sim with 2011. So each time I load that up, because I've been loading it up to do comparisons of different features and things, to try and build out almost like a cheat sheet of the different features between the different versions. In the idea of I'm going to try to kind of distill it down to an infographic if I can. But each time I load up 2011, it's just going to, oh, I remember this. And you hear that menu music and you go, oh yes, oh. It's started you on a kind of multi-year obsession, franchise obsession for Farming Simulator. Which, like I said, when you go, having gone back all the way to 2008, the amount of improvements, the amount of new features that they've added, I'd started to get a little bit jaded between like 15, 17, well, 13, 15, 17, I should say. Bruce never played any before 13. Fair enough. But yeah, so I started to get a bit jaded to go, oh, they don't seem to be adding too much. Of course they have. I couldn't quantify it quite so much when you're looking at it in version to version space. But I'm really, really excited for 22. I have to say. The sound upgrades is going to be really good. Yeah. The weather app on your phone is claiming that Monday is the last day of over 80 Fahrenheit. It's heading over 90 Fahrenheit now. Wow. That's warm. That's warm. It was between 80 and 90 when I was out visiting Das and Dare several years ago now. That was 2016 that I was out there visiting them. So that's a while ago now. Come on, finish the field, please. There we go. So let's get our course generated for field 22. Let us take the money. Oh, there's another harvesting contract. Oh, I've got that harvesting contract. No, there's not another harvesting. I thought there was fresh harvesting contracts there. Apparently not. So, there we go. That's given us some more money. So we're back up almost to the same amount of money before we bought our hayloft. So... I'm not necessarily going to do this fertilising contract straight away. I'm going to go and check on the status of the cotton harvest. It looks like it's at least spewed out one bale. So, of course, this is the slow tractor. Slow and steady wins the race. Yes, it's slow and steady wins the race. If you don't like Massey, then drive a case. Maybe. Maybe? I don't know. I know Brew will have something alternative to say to that, but that's okay. Okay. So we can see we're working on the 5th pallet of cookies now. Bruce decided to keep his mouth shut. That's a very wise decision, my friend. You don't actually need to, but it's a wise decision nonetheless. So we wanted to go to the cotton harvest to see how it's doing. That's not long spooted out the bale. It's certainly at least one more bale, probably a third bale, but obviously we can only take 2 in the trailer at the time. So I think we'll just leave that doing its doings. We won't worry about picking that up just yet. We'll pick it up when there's 2. So let's make a start here. Make a start on this. Oh, jeez! Big trucker with the creeper. Thank you very much for the 25 bits and confusing the heck out of me. Where I'm like, and then it's a creeper. Just as I get in the truck, well, in the combine. Goodness me. I assume that's a blast to try and crack Brew's exterior to actually say something, but I'm not sure he's going to. So, there we go. Do do do. Do do do. Wom 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 wom. Alright, so yeah. Oh, 20% up a single slice. Not bad. Like I said, again, any overage that we're going to get from this field will go straight to the flour mill, funnily enough. So what all is being changed for FS22? Well, not everything has been announced as yet, Big Trucker. But in 22, they've got some of the combines have got the auto leveling thing for the header. They're changing the sounds, so the sounds will all be more uniquely created. So it'll do the engine, but it'll do the engine under load. It'll do a lot of other sounds that coincide with it, like the metal clunks when trailers kind of close down and hatches shut. There's seasons built in from the scratch. There's gears, so you'll actually be able to manually gear the tractors and combines, or you can stick with automatic. What else is there? There's apparently going to be some changes in animals. Sorry for this, Fad. What's that? Since they had 3 years instead of 2. Actually, yeah, so they're changing a lot of base stuff. It looks great, says Brew. What else have they done? There's production lines, so yeah, production lines. So you'll be able to deliver goods, and then so like you'll be able to deliver your grain, mill it into flour, deliver it to a bakery, turn it into bread and things, and that's built in. So build mode's changed. So no worries, Brew. So if you look in Brew's Discord, there's a list of all the features in the Farm Sim channel, and it's all linked to the Farm Sim Discord, which is perfectly fine. So yeah, so I've talked through a little bit of it there, but my memory is not going to go through absolutely everything. And there's stuff, there's going to be stuff I'm sure that they haven't announced yet, because they're still trying to kind of suck everyone in a little bit. There's new crops, so there's sorghum, and there's vine crops, so grapes and olives. Like I said, brand new build mode. So yeah, so it's a lot of the base stuff has changed. So and it's a nice complement. So they've put a little bit of new stuff in. So new crops, potentially something new with the animals, which I don't think has been talked about in great detail yet. New build mode. So yeah, it's lots of good stuff coming, Big Trucker. Like I said, so much so that genuinely it's got me really very excited to play the game, which I wasn't with 19 when it launched. I was happy to play it after I'd played it, but I wasn't excited beforehand. It didn't wow me, whereas 22 is definitely giving me a wow. Just grapes and olives. Well, grapes and olives are the new crops that are a different type of crop, but they're adding sorghum, and then of course you've got all the not actually crops, but all the other things like the flour and stuff that will be added. So they're not crops per se, but those are the only new crops I think I remember hearing about. But of course that then adds new vehicles, because you've got to have vehicles to harvest the grapes and the olives. And so yeah, they'll be able to, the modders can add stuff, so crop coding's easier for people to add stuff to. So yeah, so lots happening. They haven't said anything about that I've seen, Big Trucker, as to whether or not you can harvest at different stages to get different kind of stages of olives or grapes, indeed. But so I guess we may have to wait and see. Like I said, they've given us snippets. They haven't given us everything. They're definitely still holding some cards. Well, yeah, by all means, Brew, if you're of the mind to email them and ask them. I think it's a good question from Big Trucker. I hadn't actually thought of it myself. I'm just in giggly schoolgirl mode of, oh, it looks good, it looks nice. Got to use your partnership for something. Well, Big Trucker personally prefers green grapes and black olives. Fair enough. I've said several times over the last few days, if we all liked the same things, it would be a very, very boring world. So if they haven't, it would be a good addition. Yeah, I know there's a bunch of people that are looking at stuff that they've already announced and kind of tacking on to that and going, oh yeah, it would be good if you took it a little bit further. Yeah, Bruce says, can't wait to get a server set up for us all. Yeah, that'd be good. I think I'm trying to think for streaming. Obviously, for streaming on day 1 and day 2, I'll be streaming single player. But I'm trying to think for streaming when I kind of cut over from this to 22, whether or not I stream from the multiplayer map again. I assume you'll be going with a base game map or a modded map for that, Brew? Because I know I'm already seeing videos on YouTube about Farm Sim 22 modded maps. So your plan is a bit of a community server, fair enough. Right 1 stage, right stage 2. Yes. Yes, that would be a way to handle it, Big Trucker, and there are definitely in the coding, because you can see the different colours of the map when you've got the different ready to harvest. So you've already got a gradation, at least in the coding, even if you don't have it in the textures. That way you can pretend you have friends. I don't think that's ever in question, Brew. I think for me it's just a question that we had that crash, and I'd started a stream series with a goal in mind, and we had the crash, and so I kind of got I lost a little bit of ground and lost a bit of faith in kind of doing that, because I thought it would change again, and obviously it hasn't, but I thought it would. So I kind of thought I wanted the stability of knowing that I'd got control of the world. I'm a bit like that at times, a bit of a control freak, as you know. So, but yeah, I don't think you need to pretend to have friends, Brew. You know where they are. So, and actually, this has worked out quite nicely, because of course this map has kind of cajoled me into doing the different versions, which led to me actually buying. I didn't have 2008, 2009, but I bought them. I bought the CDs so that I could actually have them to play, to do my retrospective run up to 22 launch, which is, yeah, lots of fun. Yeah, so we had a lot of fun on Friday with Landwirtschaft Simulator 2008. It was yeah, very, very interesting. We've planted some, so we haven't finished harvesting the first field because the fields are absolutely enormous. You can't buy any equipment, so you only have the equipment that you start with. So it's quite small equipment, and yeah. So I've planted to do just a little bit of yield analysis to see how much difference the spraying makes, how much difference ploughing and cultivating versus just cultivating makes in the very first version. So. Did that for corn too, with additional harvester for stage 1 not dried, stage 2 dried. Well, yeah. Lots of good ideas, Big Trucker. And obviously, I know I doubt anyone from Farm Sim would ever be in my stream, because I don't get the audience numbers that they probably get to see me anywhere. But I mean, I'm fairly sure that they do listen out to what the community's saying in Farm Sim streams, in chats and things like that, and they listen out for the ideas, because they'd be crazy not to. They really would. Oops, sorry, Brie, you said, I'm just surprised my on holiday the day FS22 comes out. I thought you weren't on holiday the day it came out. Maybe I was thinking of somebody else. I thought you couldn't get that day off and you'd be working. Or maybe I'm thinking of, I'm probably thinking of Steam and Train Sim World. Hey, Serenar! Serenar's lurking a few streams today. Oh, you have the week off. Oh, nice, Brew. Well done. Well organised. How are you today, Serenar? I promise I am going to have a shave before you arrive tomorrow. It's a little bit unkempt at the moment, but I will be having a tidy up of myself. The house won't be perfect, but there we go. I can't do everything. Back from visiting your parents for the weekend. Had a great time. Excellent, excellent. I hope they're well. That's all good. There are markets for undried corn and dried corn, so it makes sense. Yeah! I don't know all of these things. I don't pretend to know all of these things. Yeah. I have to admit, I wasn't paying attention. I just play the game, in all honesty. If they add something in, I'll play it. I don't go for super realistic play like Brew does. So if you want to see super realistic play, then obviously do kind of go and check out Brew's channel. He's a lot more disciplined with things that he does. I play the game, and if I kind of cut a corner on the road or I turn the traffic off, yeah, not a big deal. I mean, like the hay dryer, I mean, I don't know if such a building does exist to kind of just deposit grass and dry it. Somehow my brain logic kind of doubts it. But by the same token, it works for me in game. I wouldn't go to the extent of getting a harvester that's modified to be only costing $1 and it's the uber duper hyper mega harvester. That's not on. So I have a threshold of what I'm prepared to tolerate as realistic and not realistic, but it's realistic within the game environment for me. Because it gives us a beautiful opportunity to be creative. So when you buy an ear of corn or can of corn, that's corn harvested before it dried out. Ah, okay. That makes more sense to me, Big Trucker. Thank you. I couldn't visualize what you were meaning, but thank you for clarifying that. Serena says, corn on the cob. Yeah, so there's definitely a market for both. I think the market for the dried corn is probably more of the processed food type thing from what you describe. Yeah, cornmeal, corn in cereal, etc. is from corn that dried out. Yes, I said that just as I didn't read your kind of comment before I said that, but we're kind of, yeah. So as Sarah and I was saying, get out of my head. It's dangerous in there. Don't you know? It's very dangerous in my head. Yeah. Serenad's having a good laugh at that one. Corn syrup you think is from undried? Possibly, because, yeah, possibly. Because it would need the liquidity. So, yeah, so we're harvesting Hitman's field. So, contract for Hitman, so hence we're not doing perfectly straight lines, and I'm driving because, yeah, that's just the way we do Hitman's field. It's not, but it's the way we're doing it today. And for those of you that didn't see last time, I did buy more cows. So I did buy the extra cows, so we've got 10 cows of the black and white variety. And I filled up some of the stuff. That's why we got the hay dryers, because I'm going to need hay in more quantities, and I don't really want to be messing around on the field. I want to just drive around, harvest the grass into the forage wagon and dump it somewhere so that it can dry and turn into hay. Because otherwise I've got to ted it, windrow it, and it's just, I'm not, for the quantities that I need, I'm not wanting to do that. So, not wanting to invest in the equipment to do it when I can get a building that'll do it and just stick with what I've got for now. Because we want to put our money into other things. We've got some landscaping work to do. We've got to set up a forestry area over near the Cookie Highway. I want to do a bunch of things. Probably need to invest in equipment and buy some larger fields so that we can start to move towards some of the achievements that relate to number of hectares that we've worked. Usually livestock get the dried corn too, but Angus tastes better. Fair enough. Yeah, I guess that is the case. I didn't know what was in. I mean, obviously, I saw the feed that was given to the cows in the winter. I mean, not in the summer months. They would always. My uncle's cows would always graze on the fields in the summer months, but in the winter months they'd get fed. And that was pellets. I have no idea what was in it. I never even looked. Well, I looked at the packaging, but I couldn't remember it because I would have been. Yeah, I would have been a kid, like 7 years old or something. So. Haven't you ever heard of the expression corn fed, Serenar? In reference to cows, obviously, in this case. Oh, corn-fed to chickens, yes, corn-fed to chickens, yes. But I'm fairly sure I'd heard it for cows as well. But yes. Well, it's all good fun. I think we need to repair this combine. I think when we go, if we get to the end of this pass, we might be lucky, and we'll take it back and empty it out. And whilst it's up there, we're going to pretend to call the mobile mechanic and have them come out service it on the field. Hey, Piglet! They roll corn as mixed ration. Ah, okay. How is Piglet today? Helps with milk production and meat production. Corn sometimes gets mixed into mixed rations or straight fed. Ah, okay, fair enough. Lots of good comments on uses of corn. We got, for those that have joined recently, if anyone, got started not by talking about Farm Sim 22 and all the things that are going to be coming, all the things that are exciting us collectively and individually. You're not doing too bad. Not bad, just lurking. Fair enough, Piglet. I appreciate the lurk, as always. Makes me feel like I'm not just talking to myself when I see there's 5 viewers, or so it shows at the moment. Makes me feel a little bit better about my life choices. Okay, where are we going to take this to? This is field 18. We've got to take it to Port Northwest.
No, I'm only a youngling.
Thank you, Anonymous, for the only a youngling from Hitman 82, since we're harvesting his field. Yeah, I've got so much back footage. I'm going to have to look back and try and get some more Sound Alert grade material from my back catalogue, from all the different people that I've been going with. I mean, Hitman had some classic ones at times. So yeah, I'm sure there's some classic Brew ones in there as well. So much. Well, it's not even the B-roll, Serenar. The actual published YouTube content as well. Because I've got I have the whole back catalogue. I think. I might have dumped one series of Farming Giant because I can't find it at the moment. But I may not have done it. It may just be temporarily somewhere for me to process it. Usually followed by I'm Brew Addict by Brew shouting "Ooh!" followed by an explosion. Yes, either that or complaining about I'm a jerk because I happened to mention my good friend Ed Zachary. I don't. What? A bit of an oversteer there. Undried corn is harvested by the ear instead of extracting the kernels in the field. Yes. Bruce says jerk. That was predictable, wasn't it? If anyone doesn't understand that joke, yeah. I think we were messing around either just prior to or just after a recording. And I was talking to Das, and I happened to say Ed Zachary. And Das, of course, understood me, and Brew was wanting to know who this Ed Zachary fella was. So I told him that he should go Google it. And he did. So that's the story, and that's why Brew thinks I'm a jerk. Because I talk about Ed Zachary. And of course, it was all very funny at the time. So yeah, so for those of you that didn't see, what I just did would have taken a bit longer in 2008. So in 2008, it moves to a different view. It moves to almost like a cutscene view whilst you are using the tipper, and you can't move the tractor. You are literally, you can exit the tractor, you can go do something else, but you cannot move that tractor whilst it's tipping. It's in place, cannot be moved. It's almost, like I say, it's almost like a cutscene video. And I think we're going to do an up and over this way for now. Serenar's laughing again. Do, 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 do. Oh, and Serenar, Asda made a mistake. I ordered 3 lots of steak and they only gave me 1. So I've raided Mum's freezer today. So I've got some for me. I'm going to have the freezer stuff and you're going to have the fresh. So need more trailers, got to get those road trains. That's a good point, Big Trucker, actually. That's a very good point. I think we may invest in that. No, not this one. Not that one. Next one. But yeah, I could go for that big trucker. Because of course these agroliners are good because they do all link. So road trains are good because every time you deliver a load, the sell price reduces. Yes, I mean, fortunately for this is a contract, so although it's reducing the price, it doesn't actually reduce the money that we get from the contract, but it does reduce the price of the overage. But we're not going to be selling the overage, we're going to be taking it to the grain mill, to the flour, the grain mill, to produce flour. So that will be... We're not too worried about the price of the wheat. But yeah, you're absolutely right in the other cases. I said we were going to call the mechanic as well, didn't I? Let's call the mechanic. Call the mechanic. Do not panic. Call the mechanic. We might as well repair that one because it's out on the field with us as well. You can sell everything in... Yeah, you get a maximum price. Yeah, absolutely. You're quite correct, Big Trucker. I'm just less concerned about that right at this instant because I just do it, and whatever money I get. I'm a little bit just prepared to. Well, I guess I'm prepared to just keep going and doing it because a lot of the time, most of the time, this stuff's getting done by the courseplay worker, like it is for the cotton, which is, where is it? Here. Oh, it's nearly done. Well, we've got 2 bales to deliver. And it looks like it'll be 2.5 bales. But I bet you the half bale will be the one that's be the overage. So, in fact, we're going to do that. We're going to finish that one off because that'll be, then we can start something else. This is one hefty beast. Hefty beast. Not sure whether or not he'd actually drive one of these onto a field or not. Again, my brain suggests maybe not, but not to the point that... Well, you wouldn't drive it like I'm driving it, that's for sure. Drive it far better than this. There it is. Do. 1 square bale. On bigger maps, I work up a train of lorry trailers to deliver a market unless there's a train available. Yeah, fair enough. I have to admit, I haven't necessarily done that. That might be something that I need to experiment with at a later time. Let's go take this to the spinnery. To the spinnery! Let's not go too fast just yet. We've got a bridge to get across. And we've got to not go in the water as we drive around the coast. Dum dum dum. Brew, if you're still there, did you ever do any of the FSL? Because I think Red Flannel was going into that. I don't know how far he got, but did you? I know you. I was sure you applied. Did you go in, and have you been doing much with it? Yeah, so we're going to be doing very strange driving here, mostly because there's no traffic, so we can use the road as we would want to, as if nobody else in the whole world existed. Because with this world, they don't! Here we are at the spinnery. Contract on field 13 finished. I said that would be the case, didn't I? That what's left in the harvester would be the overage. And I was right. It's like I've done that mission, not necessarily that specific mission, but I've done a mission very similar to that before, where it was 2 bales and an overage. So before we get rid of this equipment, we're going to go back and get that overage and sell it to the spinnery. I'm going to go off-road here, I think, because we can. Do. There we go. Yeah, the knights from me, and we want a shrubbery. Yes, unfortunately, a friend of mine, I think we may have... No, that's not the field we need to go to. It's the next one. That's
King
twice.
illegal forest, 2 pig wild kill in it is.
Oh, I do love that seller. Thank you, Anonymous, for the 25 bits. And the King illegal forest to pig wild kill in it is. Oh, I love that one so much. Thank you very much. That's definitely brought a chuckle. And if you didn't get it, then go watch Robin Hood Men in Tights. It is hilarious. Because they are men in tights. Manly men in tights, even. They roam around the forest looking for fights. I'm going to just give myself a minute on that brew. Oh, we've got... I think we're stuck here. Let's just unstick this. Stoppe the driver. Okay, next to this is waypoint. Driver the course. Okay. So Brew's now going to get his own back with a sing mode. So we are heading into sing mode. Ba, ba, ba. If you don't know what sing mode is, it's where I have to sing what I normally say all the way through for
It's a
the next
derpalopagus.
5 minutes. Thank you, Anonymous, for the derpalopagus. It certainly is a derpalopagus day. Derpalopagus farm. Palophagus ways. Even if we don't produce hay, we're gonna take this to the top of the field, and then we will get our overage yield. We're gonna take it to the spinnery and make the monies, and then we'll get a beehive and we'll make some honey. Maybe, maybe. Bum bum bum. It's cotton. It's cotton. There's a knot in my cotton. It's gonna be so much fun, even if you choose to run. Bum, bum, ba, la, da, da, da. And of course, if we sing the Robin Hood Men in Tights, we're men in tights. We roam around the forest looking for fights. We're men, manly men, we're men in tights. We rob from the rich and give to the poor. That's right! We may look like Nancy's, but watch what you say, or else we'll punch at your lights. Bum 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 bum. Getting the cotton bale out. Getting the cotton bale out. Do 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 do. Away we go, away we go. Let's go back to the other machine. Get that bale and take it away. Take it away. Take it away. Everyone have a lovely day while we get this bale and take it away. I look at my work emails and I'm off so I don't look. And it's all crazy. 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 Dum bum bum. There's a bale in the trailer, we take it. We take it the other side of the map. If we almost run off the road, I promise not to get in a flap. Dum bum 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 bum. Not even looking at the time countdown, it's at 2 minutes. I was hoping it would be nearly finished. Who ever thought this was a good idea? I don't know. They're here all year. Bum 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 along the road. Let's see if we can do it in cab mode. Dun 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 dun. Let's keep going, driving fast. Even if we end up in a crash. Ba ba ba. Dun dun dun. Dum ba dum bum bum. Press the emergency button. Press the emergency button. We have got some cotton, so we press the emergency button. Bum 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 bum. Thank you very much, Anonymous, for playing the ship's whistle. That's a lovely sound, I love it so much. It's the closest we have to a jump scare. But it does not scare me, 'cause I know when it comes to play. It makes me smile, it makes me cry, because of all the different things. And we're gonna go. Oh, and the sounds in 22 also have this seat suspension as well. It's all wonderful, it's all great. Unless it's your personal hell. Bum 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 ba-dum bum. 5, 4, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1. And sing mode is done. The only thing I'm going to say about sing mode is I am glad that I did restrict it to only 1 per strain. Not because I don't like doing it, I actually really do quite enjoy it. But it gets. I think it would get a bit boring. It would lose its. It would lose its appeal, lose its fun if it was done more than once a stream. I think, and it doesn't get done once a stream. It gets done every once in a while, which is good. Okay, let's collect that because we don't need the equipment for that anymore. So that's good. So that's the cotton harvest done. So that's good. Oh, we've got cultivating. Oh, we've got cultivating for Serenar. So I don't have enough tractors. I want a tractor here. I want a tractor here, and I want another tractor to be doing the cultivating contract for Serenar. Although we do have the major, it's not going to be good. So what we are going to do, we're going to set up. Ah! No, I don't want that.
Squeeze!
Hey, big. Thank you for the squee, big trucker. Truck seats aren't supposed to move side to side. No, it was probably my driving that did that. But it was. I thought it was more up and down. It was more like the bouncing. But they probably shouldn't move that much for suspension, to be honest. It was somewhat exaggerated. So let's do a course generation on this field and see where we are. Okay, I think we're good. I think there'll be a little bit of stuff that we will miss, but that's okay because we can always come back and clean that up manually. So we are going to. We're going to get this fertilizing contract done, and then we're going to put this tractor with the cultivator, and we're going to take control back of our harvester and set this one as the mission. Up and down, and usually fore and aft. Okay, fair enough. So, yes. Do you tend to use fore and aft in trucking parlance, or is that just because of other reasons? I'm asking genuinely out of curiosity. I talk about the aft end of things at different times. Particularly, I was talking with 1G about cars, because he'd mentioned on stream, I think it was on Tuesday or Thursday. Not side to side, that could make you miss the pedal. Well, yes, absolutely. He'd mentioned about cars that were ugly, and I'd said, okay, have you got a picture of the aft end of it? But that's just me. I'm weird. So we're going to do this contract now. This should be the last fertilizing contract for a little time. Well, we've got 6 and 7 to do as well, but they're very teeny tiny little fields right by our animal farm. So not sure officially. Okay, fair enough. But you obviously use it because you're familiar with the terms and it works for you, which is as good a reason as any to use a piece of terminology. Do do do. Do 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 do. You don't have access to that land. Who cares? So hopefully Brew feels he got the money's worth of his Sig mode. I know he does love that because he thinks it drives me crazy. It really doesn't. It doesn't embarrass me. If it did, I probably wouldn't enable it on the channel at all. So it's just a shame that you will have to listen to me trying to sing for 5 minutes. Not that you don't at other points of time, but it's just usually not a concentrated 5 minutes. It's usually like a few little bits here and a few little bits there. Bum, bum, bum. So is Colorado already... Yep, Colorado is already live. So we know where we're heading in about, well, just under an hour's time. So... Got to waste your points somehow. Well, that's very true. That's very true. Although I don't necessarily consider it a waste. I think it's supposed to be there for entertainment value. If you get some enjoyment out of watching me act a little bit of a fool, so be it. So that's part of the beauty of Twitch, really, is that live interaction and affecting the output of the stream. So yeah. Oh, that's a good idea, Big Trucker. You got Boater's safety certificate way back when to let you take a powerboat out on your own and not have trouble with the cops for being young. Yeah, yeah. If you want to satisfy a need for speed, then doing it somewhere other than the roadway is probably a good idea. Except when you can go and do things like a track day. But trying to do it on the actual public roads is probably not the cleverest place. Particularly nowadays with how congested everything gets and how many other people there are on the roads, it's just not sensible. Serena's hoping to do a track day next year. On the bike, Serena, or... I've got to try and find where our appropriate track is. Yep, on the bike. Nice! I bet that'll be cool. Bruce says he just enjoys hanging with me. Ah, that's good. Well, it's always nice to have you in the chat, Bruce. You know me, I love to have the company in chat, and whether you're lurking or whether you're chatting, it's all good. I appreciate everyone. It's always helpful to me if there is a few people just kind of putting comments in the chat, because it makes me feel like I'm not, like I say, just talking to myself, and you feel self-conscious after a while of talking to yourself, because you kind of you see like there might be kind of 3 or 4 people showing as viewing, and you kind of, I'm just talking to myself, and I'm not sure if it's true. Is there anyone out there? Am I just crazy? But yes. So yeah, so that's all good. So, yeah, that looks like, yeah, just a few little bits I said that we would get on that last slice there, which is good. I am just going to top this up to 100% before we go. I also got a Michigan minor restricted driver's license as your parents got disqualified from driving. Wow. So what does that mean in terms of the restrictions? So does that mean you weren't allowed to have passengers in the car? I.e., it was a punishment for your parents so that you couldn't run them around? So I have heard this before in kind of US, that there's like restricted licenses for some younger people, but I kind of never really understood what the concept was. I mean, obviously there's restrictions for new drivers here in the UK, but it's so long ago since I was a new driver here in the UK, I honestly don't remember what they are. So, and I think there is something about passengers over here, but I don't know. I think that's only when you're on your provisional. that you're only allowed to have the driver under whose license you're being instructed or supervised, I think. Okay, you had to have a passenger in the vehicle. So did that passenger have to have a full license? Oh, you had to have a parent in the vehicle. Okay, fair enough. So it meant you couldn't go out by yourself, which is a little bit harsh, but... That's what we have here. I mean, before we actually get our full license, there's what we have called a provisional license, which is... It's basically a learning license. So you're not qualified to drive on your own. You haven't passed your test, but I think you've passed your theory test before you get your provisional. I think, maybe not. But you're able to drive on the roads under instruction of someone. So it just means that they've got your details before you even start taking lessons. Learners, you're supposed to have a licensed driver next to you. Yes, absolutely. You need a provisional to do the theory test. Okay, I got it the other way around, Brew. Mr. S got his provisional but never got a test. Okay, fair enough. I don't... For me, and this is just me, this is no judgment on anyone else, I couldn't imagine not having a driving license. In fact, mine was just recently renewed, so mine, my old one, is here in 2 pieces. So, to be sent back. It's been cut in half, or into 2. You'd be stuffed if you had to do the theory and hazard thingy. You wouldn't be stuffed, Serenat. It's just different now. We would... Any of us that did it, quote-unquote, the old way, we would be able to do what they do now, but we'd have to train for it, the same way that we trained for the way in which we did the test back then. Bruce says, I can't live without my driving licence. I agree. I wouldn't be able to either. Well, I would, but it would be... I so greatly value the convenience of being able to just get in my car and go. And I have friends that don't have driving licenses, aren't worried about driving licenses, get around on public transport perfectly fine. And there's nothing wrong with that. If that works for you, that's perfectly fine. I just value the convenience of not having to plan. And also, if something happens to the dog, I know I can just jump, go, do whatever I need to do. So, need a car to get the works, there's no public transport to there. Exactly. And I take it, Big Trucker, you were kind of pointing to Bruce, can't live without my driving licence. Perhaps more so in your case. Rather than need a car to get to work as no public transport. Although it could be either one of those, and I think they're both good comments. I work here. This is my work right now, and even before the craziness of last year, I was still working from home 3 days a week. So the percentage of my time spent at the office was reduced anyway. So let's go get this unloaded again. Oh, that's good. That's my new... I've gone past the turning, have I? No, I haven't gone past the turning. It's the next turning. There it is. Sorry, I saw an email flash up on my phone, my work phone. I shouldn't be looking at it because I'm off, but and it's the new critical incident manager sending a message out, which is good. Nice to see them able to work. That's the reason for the minor restrict. There's little to no public transport here. Yes. Which is fair. And of course, I've had the different experience. I live in a town obviously at the moment, but it's in a somewhat more. It's close to rural areas where you know there's a lot of people that can't get about. Oh, the comment I skipped. Ah, okay. I'll go back to that one in just a second. Let's just empty this up. Oh, they issued minor restricted at 13-14, so it's before a learner's permit then, basically. Ah, okay. Or before a formal learner's permit. Ah, okay. Nice. That's a good idea. But yeah, so like I said, as I was saying, I've got the experience of being in a city where you really don't need travelling. We thought it would be devastating if I lost all driving rights. Well, yeah. I can imagine that it would be. So that's now 50%. Let's go and do this. A little bit more. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and apologies, Big Truck. I wasn't intentionally skipping a comment there. I look at chat and I try to keep an eye on the game, and sometimes I do inadvertently miss something. Particularly when we get into one of these discussions where we're talking about stuff. It's yeah. I like these chats. They're kind of like we try to prompt in. Well, we end up prompting in Dare's chat as well. Always good fun. A bit of an exploration of different things and different people's experiences. Yes, before you can you get trained, if you can prove the required need, you can get a written test and get on the road. Nice! That's a good idea for places where you kind of have almost that essential nature of... And of course, if your parents were both disqualified as well, it would be kind of, okay, well, how else are we going to do this? And that's, yeah... That leads to craziness like the sovereign citizens. Well, I've got to drive. I can't not drive. You've taken my license away, but I have to. And there doesn't seem to be any way to realistically cover those situations if you are like a single person. Because it's got, yeah, you've lost your license and you can only apply in 30 days. And it's got, well, in 30 days I won't have a job. Come on, be reasonable. So. It does seem to be, with some of the driver licensing out in the US, there does seem to be an element of unreasonability to it. Because it's almost like almost like rather than a safety endeavour, it's almost like a commercial endeavour to keep the DMV itself running. But that's just an outside perspective. I don't know it from the inside, so I may not have the right perspective to comment fully. Dad was removed from society and Mum had seizures. Oh, that's... yeah. That's not good. Yeah, that would definitely... I think that would count under the extenuating circumstances kind of criteria. Certainly for my mind. Well... which is why I said about the areas of reasonability. It was reasonable for that kind of minor restricted permit to exist for circumstances such as you've just described, which is a good thing. I think there's obviously rule of law, there's all the rules that we've got to follow, but there's got to be ways in which we can adapt things when circumstances are not conducive. Because it's the moment you put someone in a it's tough, so sod you. They're not going to follow things if you just put them in a situation they can't get out of. Reasonably so. But there we go. I think we'll complete this pass, then we'll go back and empty. We should be ready to go back and empty the harvester. Like I said, once we've finished this field, we'll go and attach the cultivator to this one, and we'll bring it back to do field 20 for Serenar. I think we've already completed one contract for Serenar today, which is good. She paid us a nice lot of money for it, which was good. Okay, where is this one? Thank you very much. Oh, looks like we're gonna... yeah, we're just about doing a reverse. Drove safely with no tickets or accidents, even years after you had your full license. Yeah. I think a lot of people do. I have had an accident. I've had some times when I've driven or backed my car into a post, but that was always in a private car park. But I have had one accident on the road. Oh, you wrote off a cop car. Okay. Nice, Brew. I had a small little door denting at a mini roundabout, and I'm still not entirely convinced. I was deemed at fault. My insurance company deemed fault to be on me. This was before kind of dash cams were really a thing. But I could have sworn that person, both lanes on the other side of the roundabout could turn to the left. And I could have sworn that person was indicating left. It was rainy, so visibility wasn't the greatest. And I made the decision to go, and they went into the side of me. Because they were, in fact, turning right. And of course, then it was, well, you just drove out in front of me. Now, I couldn't prove anything because there's no record of it, but I could have sworn that they were indicating to turn left and then came round. But it was weird. It was weird. You drove far better than your mother ever did. She actually backed off the throttle climbing hills. Wow. Interesting. Brew, I was driving a dump truck and they were escorting me. They slammed on, and you don't stop a dump at that fast. Slammed on the brakes. I'm assuming that the missing words there in that sentence. But yeah, slammed on the brakes and you don't stop a dumper that fast. Well, no. Fair enough. Oh, Big Trucker says you shouldn't be that close. Well, yeah, I mean, that is from the letter of how we're taught, you shouldn't actually be close enough to the vehicle that your braking distance is an issue. But again, if you're under escort and you're trying to not snarl up the roadways, again, Yes, I could argue that one either way, actually. Not that I argue much at all. So I think we're at 66%, so we should be well over 80% this time around for this field. For the magnificent mighty hitman. They said they were at full. Okay, fair enough. Driving a 13 tonner and it was fully loaded and you were doing 10 miles an hour. Well, yeah, that's... Yeah. Again, like I said, it can be argued very differently. As in, they knew that there was a heavy piece of equipment behind them and slamming on the brakes rapidly rather than planning ahead and doing a planned deceleration was the wrong thing to do. You could argue that driving the kind of dump truck, you should have known the stopping distance and been that far away from them. But again, was that practical? Because people could have cut in and out of traffic in between the two of you because you're in an escort situation. So was that realistic to expect? Oh yeah, I could argue this for days, most likely. She wanted to back down the hill once with a blind wooden bend at the bottom. Or a blind wooded bend at the bottom. Stomped your foot down on hers and the car jumped up and tore over the hill. It was all in her head. Ah, okay. You were in town, so you had to be close. Yeah, because traffic would have been zigging in and out if you... Yeah. So yeah, makes sense, bro. I'm not... Like I said, no criticism of you. I just... Again, with all things, it depends on the circumstances and the individual scenario is always so critical to kind of understanding, because at face value, it's kind of, yeah, I rear-ended a police car. That's the simple statement, but it's just so much more complex than that. Although I will say for me that my experience does make me, I won't say more hesitant, but just more careful at roundabouts. Let's go get some more. I didn't even see what percentage that was at. So we're at 96. So we're almost 100,000 again. I am really enjoying making the money in this game now. Now that we've got the equipment size up a little bit, I don't know if we'll go up a size in tipper again or not. Not tipper, harvester. That's the word I wanted. Not tipper, harvester. There we go. So we'll let that empty out. Oh, we need to get some more fuel for our tractor there. I think we might need to take it over to... Well... See how long it takes us to do Hitman's Field, I guess. Do. Oh, and if anyone was in when the person that followed at the beginning of the stream followed, please do not click on their profile link. Please do not click on their profile link. There are profiles with that name that are being identified as kind of IP grabbers through an API exploit on their Twitch profile. So do not look at those profiles. Big trucker. I'm usually pulling a 53-foot trailer when you encounter roundabouts, so you have fairly high standard for awareness there. Yes. Although I don't think roundabouts are quite so prevalent over in the US. Depends on your area, obviously, as they are here, and some of them are quite tiny. And this was a small mini roundabout, effectively, but it got it's. I can't say a great deal different. I could well have been at fault. It surprises me, but like I said, I recall the event. I absolutely made the decision to go, and in my head, based on all the information, that car that hit me was turning to the left. So I made that determination for something. Whether or not my eyesight didn't catch it correctly because of the rain, whether or not they were indicating left and changed their mind, I don't know. But the only thing I can say is that having said at the side of the road that they were perfectly fine, they did use the wonderful word of whiplash and got £2,000 without it being questioned in any way, shape or form. So I say that not out of any malice, but it makes me question. Although at the side of the road they wanted to deal with it outside of insurance. And I go, well, it potentially invalidates my insurance if I don't report it. So yeah, they are getting more common. This was before people kind of doing the kind of insurance scam crashes was quite so commonplace. Anytime you're scared of driving is on the way home after nights. Is that because you don't like the night driving, Brew, or just because of something specific to where you are? Oh yeah, after a night shift, you're most tired. Yes, fair enough, Serena. Yes, that makes sense. The first night you've normally been up for 24 hours, so yes, that makes absolute sense because, yeah, the tiredness will get you potentially. Oh, the diamonds. Yeah, they're trying those, and that's an interesting. I looked at the layouts of those, and I just kind of, it works pretty well, but it's just a little bit counterintuitive. So you have to. I think it probably takes some time for people to get used to. They say if you've been up for 16 hours, you have the same reactions as someone that has drunk a bottle of vodka. Yeah, wouldn't surprise me. Would not surprise me. Right, so we've got another several passes to do on Daresfield. Looks like we're going to be queuing up behind the harvester as well to take the next lot. Sarah says, blow me, I'd be unconscious if I had a bottle of vodka. Bruce says a bottle a night for him is not on a night out easy. Yeah, well, people do have different tolerances. I would consider, and I tended to drink double, so I would consider kind of somewhere between 8 and 10 doubles would be what I would probably drink on an average night out when I was younger, shall we say. Even this is probably only going to be like 98%, but well, we all know someone that can only have a pint. Well, we do indeed, and we know his name, but he can now have 3. Ah, okay. Yes. Bless his heart. Bless his heart. Ah, so I'm going to take it with only 95%. I still laugh at that though, to be honest. I mean, that whole tweeting out in all caps from the pub, and tweeting out because I had decided, or because we had collectively decided, that the derp of the show was this person. So this was deciding that they had won derp of the show as a title, and then tweeting out in all caps and getting a typo. Just thus proving the derp of the show award was appropriately awarded. It's just, yeah. So joyous. So the whole field of canola there. We've got another couple of fields of canola. So I'm sure 27 is canola and 5 is definitely canola. So. And said person also then being interviewed afterwards. So I tried to do this semi-professionally and actually interview the folks after the show. And yeah, said person who was derp of the show at some point could not keep themselves from fits of giggles to the point that they were actually giggling on the floor. So yeah, although I think that was actually during someone else's interview when I asked them for their favourite moment, and they described the moment that, again, said person fell off of their seat. And of course we then had to elaborate further. It was very funny, very funny. Of course, when I say said person, I hope we all know that I'm talking about Victoria, aka Shaun of the Derp. It was a great weekend, yes it was. So this was when we went to EGX Big Trucker. A bunch of us got together, and it was just monumentally silly, very funny. As we're talking about him, yes. Yep, absolutely. Give him a shout out, definitely. We're talking about him, so it's only fair. Yeah, he's a good guy, Shaun. I mean, like I said, my memories of Shaun still go back to when we were playing on the very first Fad World, and there'd be kind of him and his brother kind of squabbling with each other, and his mum in the background shouting, "Shaun! dinner. And it was just, yeah. Now he's kind of out on his own. It's just very interesting to see how people's lives change over time. It's just weird and interesting and amazing. So, when you cultivate friendships that start on computer games effectively, and you consider how much love I have for Das and for Dare. Serenar's coming down tomorrow, and kind of Tuesday morning I'll be cooking her biscuits and gravy. So all those things, all those experiences that make our lives. Sarah goes, but not to kind of be underdone. We're also having steak and chips the night before. So Serenar's coming down. She's going to be well and truly fed. It's kind of a family tradition for my family. It's kind of, no one leaves hungry. Serenar draws on the keyboard, yes. Wait till you see the steak, Serenar. Actually, before I end the stream, I could show you the steak that you're going to have tomorrow night. Because it is in the fridge. So I'm gonna set this up loading, and then I am just going to do a very, very quick run. Hopefully I don't upset the dog too much. Big trick is I haven't had biscuits and gravy in a long time. I've got it's packet mix for the gravy and for the biscuits, but it's still good. So yeah, just bear with me 1 second. I will be back. 2 seconds. Stay there. Oh, she's not there. Tomorrow night's dinner, Serena. So there we go. Oh, I'm back. Oh, if I can get in my seat. There we go. Okay. Puppy? Where is she? I don't know. She's not here. She's somewhere else at the moment. And yes. So that is what is for dinner. So, and of course, I've just gotten home. Well, I say I've just gotten home. I've just been today to my mum's, and we've had a nice lamb roast lamb. Oh, so need to kind of do lots more work around the house to kind of burn off some of these calories and lose some friggin' weight. So. So we have about 15 minutes left of the stream. I think I said it before you joined, Serena, but I've got the doggy fences to build after the stream so that I can keep El Pooch away. We'll do the whole safety briefing when you get here. It's not really that. It sounds like a big thing, but there are kind of hints and tips that I've been given by a trainer to help in situations where people are coming into the house, because they understand nervous dogs and things. Your diet's well and truly off the rails this weekend. Yeah, yeah. It is, Serena. It absolutely is. But because I think we'll probably use all of the biscuit mix between us, which means 3 biscuits. We use all the gravy mix between us, which is fine. That's about right, but it's a generous portion. But we have to decide if you want hash browns. I've got sausage patties, so I don't have to get the sausage meat out of the freezer. So yeah, but I do have salady type bits and ciabatta and olive oil and balsamic vinegar for lunch tomorrow, unless you want something different. So one of my favourite breakfasts is when you have lemon pepper chicken, make lemon pepper gravy, and put that gravy on your eggs and hash browns the next morning. Oh, okay. I can't say I've heard of lemon pepper gravy, but that sounds interesting. I say lemon pepper. Yeah, lemon pepper gravy. Because I love lemon. Love the taste of lemon. So yeah, that one I could be convinced of. I'm pretty sure. I have nothing. Serena says have been known to eat a plate of nothing but hash browns. Okay, so we'll be having hash browns with our biscuits and gravy then. Oh dear. It's nice when things just kind of align and smush together nicely, and it's yeah, that works out nicely. It's one of those things when you've got a friend visiting, and it's okay. I'm looking forward to it. We can do this. We can do that. You've got lots of different ideas of what you can do, both food-wise and kind of otherwise. And it's kind of that'd be nice. And they like similar things, so it's nice and easy. Rather than kind of, oh my god, what do I do? Are they going to like that? And it's almost a stress for, okay, how do you feed your friend? How do you entertain them? I think we all probably know people like that. I mean, and of course for me, it's the added challenge of having a nervous rescue dog, and I don't have enough people that visit me because I'm a miserable old sod, and so consequently she's not gotten used to people, so she's still very nervous. So all of the training and stuff that I've done to try and alleviate that doesn't come to anything because people don't come here often enough for me to utilise that training. So, but hey, you do what you can do. So, but yeah, I'm sure it will all be fine, Serena. Because the worst case scenario is if I can't keep her under control, I should just put a muzzle on her. She has a muzzle. I don't like putting it on because I don't believe in muzzling dogs, and it's not one of these. I've seen these horrid ones where it literally clamps the mouth shut. It's not like a cage. It's the clamp the mouth shut one, so they can't like open their mouth. And I don't agree with that. I really do not agree with that, because those ones stop them from being able to pant, which is the way that they kind of adjust their temperature, the way they manage their temperature. So I really, really hate those ones with a passion. I think they're evil. But the cage one allows them to pant, allows them to kind of do the things that dogs normally do. But they just look like the dog's a vicious dog, and I don't want. The reason I don't like to put it on there is I don't want her to be painted as a vicious dog, because she's just afraid. It's everything she does is out of fear, unfortunately. So, Bruce saying, I tried out a muzzle on a dog once. It was a nightmare as the missus kept moving. Oh dear. I make the lemon pepper chicken and cook it in the marinade. Remove the chicken, reduce by half, add a small container of sour cream and pinch of flour to make it thicken into proper gravy. Ooh! Nice! Nice. And thanks for sharing. Yeah. Does anyone know the which emergency room we need to kind of arrange a taxi for Brew to go to? I get a feeling that we're going to be kind of calling them soon to send the car over. I think the real nightmare Brew is going to be if Miss Brew or Mrs. Brew ever kind of does subscribe to the channels that you subscribe to and comes and watches and listens at the times that you're in chat, just to see what you get up to. I think that's going to be the true nightmare for you, because all of these wonderful comments that you come up with will land you in deep stuck. If she's seen what you get up to at work would be worse. Okay, fair enough. That's what Big Trucker. That's what I was wondering. Where's his nearest emergency room? Yeah. Yeah. So I'd imagine in parts of the US it wouldn't be where's the nearest emergency room, but where's the nearest kind of graveyard for you to be buried, because yeah. Fairly sure there's plenty of female NRA members as anything else. Bum, bum, bum. Contract on field 18 is finished. So that means this is overage, which means we're not going to sell it here. We're going to take it to our flour factory. And at the same time, we can also fill up this tractor, which is cool. Dum dum dum. So that's pretty good. I don't know if we need to unload it because it's reached the end of its... What's it? It's at 83%, so yes, it has reached the end of the field. So we've got basically a tipper and just under a half, just under a tipper and a half of wheat overage, which is cool. Because that's going to go into the flour, that's going to go into the cookies that Das made! Yay! Oh, actually, that's the point. I didn't do that, did I? Let's do it now. So we're going to... Das Cookies! So we are going to name the factory Das Cookies. Because we can. That would be, yeah, fair enough, Big Trucker. It's the only issue with dating an NRA member is that don't want the government finding out what you do and don't have. Huh? I think it seems to be a more fundamental thing. I mean, more fundamental distrust of the government seems to happen over in the US than I experience here in the UK. Not saying it doesn't happen here, but I'm just saying I don't experience it as prevalently, or I don't see it taking place as prevalently. Either that, or it's just so endemic here that it's almost tongue in cheek. It's yeah, can't trust a politician, but it doesn't necessarily rise to the same levels as it seems to in the US. But it's all good. So we're going to take this back to the field, unload. I'm not sure if we'll make it back to the flour mill with it or not. Actually, I'm going to go via the chickens because I'm going to top up the chickens, and this not full tipper load I'm going to take and put in our storage for the chickens because they need wheat and we're allowing them to breed, so we need to make sure we have a supply for them as well because we care about our animals, our animals. Oh, and I didn't fill up the tractor with fuel. Oh well, that's something else to do. It's probably because we have less foundational expectation of rights and privacy. No offense. I'd actually probably couch that slightly differently, Big Trucker. I'd say that our expectation of privacy and rights is, it may not be codified, but it's just there. It's a natural given, rather than anything else. That's how I perceive it in any event. So because it's just the way it is, and it's just considered to be default, it's not I'm sure it is written down, but it's not written down in quite such a public way, and so it just is. So I think that probably contributes to it, and yeah, that's how I see it. And in terms of privacy, yeah, again, I don't. Yeah, it just seems to be okay. Yeah, well, my privacy is my privacy. I don't see anything necessarily kind of about it, and yeah, that's how I would probably kind of approach it from. But and certainly no offense taken. Absolutely, everyone thinks about these things differently. Yeah. I guess it's not necessarily Europe anymore, but the kind of the GDPR regulations. It is until your government says it's not. Well, yes, that's a fair and reasonable point to make, Big Trucker. It's if it's not publicly spoken of, and it's kind of everyone's assumes it, and they change something. But yeah, so that's not an unreasonable point. Like I said, yeah. I don't. I guess I don't consider that it's. I don't consider it likely that it's going to get taken away. So, whereas, yeah, yes, but and yes, so you're absolutely right there, Big Trucker. So the big difference we're talking about is. You think about the foundation of the US. The foundation of the US was to get away from the authority of the crown. So we kind of aren't under the authority of the crown, but we're under the authority of the government here. And it's kind of come about in a different way. So yeah, that's kind of is it. It's kind of I always I forget who it was. I think it was it might have been a TV series, it might have been a movie, but it was someone kind of fictionally in the US saying, I don't believe in big government. I believe in a government that's big enough that I can take it out back and beat the shit out of it. Which I find to be a hilarious concept because, yeah, for us, it's the government is the government. But again, it's all different ways of being, different societal constructs, which I'm going to be studying in my introduction to social sciences. So it should be that's focused on the UK, not the US. But it's an interesting concept. Of course, over here, the government's limited by its own acts and statutes and things, and the dissolution of parliament and things like that. Different mechanisms. Oh yeah, I mean the Queen invites the Prime Minister to form a government after the election. So yeah. Of course, I am a citizen of HM. Good old Madge. Or as I call her, Boncy. Don't ask me why. I just do. So let's put wheat into the silos. So we have some ready for the chickens. And then we do need to fill this up. We're going to kind of close the stream, I think, here. And we're going to take the money from Hitman. So I'm going to say thank you very much, Hitman, for letting us harvest your field and giving us £11,000 for doing that. We're now back over the 100,000 mark. So I've got a bunch more contracts to do before the end of the day. I have a whole lot of horses that need to be exercised. So I'll be doing that between now and next Saturday's stream, because obviously our Friday streams will be taking the Tractoring to 22 series. Next week will be Farming Sim 2009. So yeah, so until... And Siri's just come up on my stupid iPad, which means my Stream Deck's gone away. Now it's hopefully coming back. So yeah, so we're going to go to our credits screen. And there we go. So let's just catch up on some of the chat before we kind of get into the credit screen. Yep. As I understand it, she could have at any time pitch them out and rule directly. I don't think she has the authority to do that, Big Trucker. But there are powers that are still granted to the Crown. I would have to look at how things are constructed and legally organised. But the power of the Crown is limited, as I understand it. But again, in some areas it's limited, in other areas it's not. So really, it's an interesting conversation, which I have to try and remember to carry that on another day. Yeah, so Serenar says, woo! And guess I'll see you tomorrow. Yes, I will see you tomorrow, Serenar. Thank you, everybody, for being in the stream today. Thank you to all channel subscribers, Farmer Kirk, Deck Tabbers, Mikey, the 1G Frost, Huson, Hodge, and Shadman. Thank you to all chatters, lurkers, and supporters. Thank you, Serenar and Brew, for being moderators. And thank you for the new follow, Hoss, although please do not click on the profile for that, because that is a dodgy IP reaping profile, as I understand it from the comments that I have seen recently. So take care, everybody. We are, of course, going to go and raid my wonderful friend, the magnificent Dare Tabbers, over in Colorado.